Hey guys, my name is Natoid and welcome to my channel. This is kind of a newer idea I had. I wanted to make a channel like this for a while and I decided to finally do it. Basically, I just want to review some stuff. That's all there is to it. So I figured, let's start now. Sonic the Hedgehog has always been one of my favorite video game characters. But the thing is, I haven't played a whole lot of his games. I've played the first couple of games before, and I've played the one where he turns into a werehog and the Black Knight, but that's pretty much it. So that's got me thinking, how good or bad are some of these games? So that's why I want to try all the Sonic games and rate them as whether I would play again or would not touch again. But I'm going to take it one step further. I want to play every single Sonic game to release in order, and you're going to do it with me. All right? Let's go. Starting out, we have Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis, released in 1991. It's your basic platformer. You move, jump, you hit enemies, and you die. A lot. In more ways than one. In Sonic the Hedgehog, you play as Sonic. The gist of the game is to save all of the animals from Dr. Ivo Robotnik. You know, this guy. I mean, look at him, he looks evil. He looks kind of like that uncle you were never allowed to visit as a kid.
You ever stolen anyone's children? Have you? I mean, you look like you would.
The game has you progress through 6 different worlds, or zones, each with 3 levels. At the end of the 3rd stage in each zone, you face off against Robotnik in a unique style. Once you beat him, you set the animals free and you move on to the next zone. I really do like this game. It's got great music, it's visually appealing, and Sonic is just a fun character. Even back in the first game, you can tell he had that whole too cool for school personality. In the first 2 stages of each world, you can get access to one of 6 special stages if you win the level with at least 50 rings and jump into the big ring at the very end. In the special stage,
Sonic does acid.
I really don't know who came up with this world design. Like, why is there a big fish and bird in the sky? What does that gotta do with a blue hedgehog? I don't know. Maybe the developers were on drugs when they did this. Who knows? Basically, you have to maneuver Sonic in a ball around the stage. You could just collect as many rings as you'd like and then find the exit, but that's not what you're supposed to do. Instead, you can find one of 6 Chaos Emeralds in each special stage. You carefully work your way around the obstacles and get the emerald. If you successfully do it, you win the stage and go on to the next level. If you get all 6 emeralds and beat the game, you get the good ending, where Sonic uses the emeralds to ensure happiness? I'm not really sure. Nonetheless, that's the good ending, so that's got me wondering, what does the bad ending look like? It's the exact same, except Sonic doesn't have the emeralds and instead Eggman's juggling them like a clown. Up until now, I've been talking about how I like Sonic 1, so you're probably thinking, Natoid, this sounds like a pretty stress-free game. I could pick it up, play at a nice relaxed pace, and log off feeling good about myself and just go on and have a good day, right? Just as a disclaimer, I am not saying the game is bad for these reasons, it just makes things a little tricky. First off, the game uses an acceleration mechanic. Basically, it takes Sonic a bit of time to move to his full speed. Combine that with the fact that the first couple of games are more platformer based, it makes basic functions like jumping a little difficult. Also, walking up hills is slow. The mechanic, though, is a fresh idea, especially compared to games like Mario. I think it's great when you learn how to use it, it's just you've got to learn how to use it. Except Labyrinth Zone, screw Labyrinth Zone, Sonic drowned so many times I stopped caring about him. The next thing is that when you get hit, you lose rings. If you're hit with 0 rings, you die. Which wouldn't be a problem with me if you didn't have to start from the beginning every time you got a game over. Now, I'm not faulting the game for this. After all, a lot of games at this time didn't use save states. I, however, did. I knew I had to because I know if I had completed all 18 levels, I got all the Chaos Emeralds, and I made it to the final Robotnik fight. but had to restart from the beginning because I couldn't accelerate fast enough to avoid getting crushed, I wouldn't pick up the game again. After all, I've got the attention span of a current day 5th grader at his great-grandpa's funeral. You see, that's me, playing Subway Surfers. Turns out though, I might just be a baby because according to some people on the internet, the lack of save states is not a problem. However, this is my video, my rules, so shut up. An interesting fact about this game real quick is that Sonic could not do his signature spin dash. Instead, he used an F-22 Raptor. Up next, we have a lesser-known game, Sonic Eraser, released in 1991. This game was for the Sega Genesis, specifically the Sega game Toshukan. I think I said that right. Since this was primarily a Japanese release, I don't know much about it, but I'll tell you what I do know. Basically, the Sega Game Toshukan, or Sega Game Library, was an online subscription service that Sega offered in the early 90s. It allowed you to download games from the website and you could put them into the cartridge to play. The Sega Game Toshukan had 2 Sonic-related games on it, the first one being Sonic Eraser and the second one being Flicky. However, Flicky did not have a lot to do with Sonic the Hedgehog. You played as one of the birds you saved from the first game, but I'm not going to worry about it. Instead, we're just going to play Sonic Eraser. So let's jump on into it. Alright, let's jump out of it. I am scared.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Yeah.
It should not be any surprise why this game is not well known. Basically, it's a Tetris-style puzzle game where you can compete with either another player or the computer. You rotate the shapes as they fall and try to line up 2 or more in a row to make them disappear. If you let the shapes reach the top, you lose. There's not much else to say, it's pretty basic. The best part about the game, however, is if you're doing super good, your Sonic will run up to the other Sonic and punch him.
Tetris!
Wait, there's difficulty levels? Well, I'm no baby. Level 9, let's go. I lost. Well, that was weird. Let's move on to the next game. Surely, it's a lot better than that one. Oh, it's not. This is Waku Waku Sonic Patrol Car, a children's arcade game released in Japan in 1991. In this game, you're Sonic, and you're a police officer. That's pretty nice, I'm glad to see him moving up. Basically, you drive around, you hit your siren, yeah, that's not gonna get old, and cause general mayhem. Eventually, Robotnik comes out and you've got to stop him. Quick, put the siren on! Wait, take the siren off, please. I forgot. Since this is a children's game, all you have to do is jump to avoid the bombs and hit Robotnik. He runs away and that's it.
Thank you!
Hooray! Yay!
The past 2 games of Sonic the Hedgehog were more spin-off based. They were charming in their own way, but not all that interesting. However, we will now be returning to the main game series with Sonic the Hedgehog 2, released in 1992 on the Sega Genesis. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 serves as a, no surprise, sequel to the first game. It's identical to how the first game plays. It's a platformer where you have to go through zones and defeat Robotnik to save animals. There are, however, some differences from the first game. First off, this is the first game where Sonic can do his signature spin dash, which makes traversing the level a lot of fun and helps with the whole acceleration function, as dodging is now a lot easier. Secondly, instead of 6 zones with 3 levels in each, there are now 10 zones with 2 levels in each. I like this change because the more zones really make the game diverse in the level. That sentence just is not grammatically correct. I like the change because the more zones makes the game a lot more diverse than the first game was, especially since the developers did a good job at not recycling the same level over and over. Each zone was unique and challenging in their own way, and that made it fun. Lastly, you'll notice that Sonic is joined by Tails. Tails is a yellow fox with 2 tails, hence the nickname, that allows him to fly. Tails has been a staple in the Sonic franchise ever since his debut in Sonic 2. In this game, he serves as the second player if you wish to play in the 2-player versus mode, but he doesn't do much in single-player mode. He will sometimes hit enemies and collect rings, but mostly he just follows you and dies in the normal stages. The special stages with him are a lot more aggravating, but I'll get to that in a moment. The game holds up in music, appearance, and character, as did the first one. I believe I liked this one more than the first game, however. There's no particular reason, I just felt like I had a lot more fun with it. In similar fashion to the first game, there are secret Chaos Emeralds to collect. In this one, you collect 50 rings and jump into a portal at checkpoints, instead of at the end of the level. The good news is, it looks like the developers put down their drugs when designing these levels. At least some of them. The bad news is, the special stages in Sonic 2 are an absolute nightmare. You and Tails are running down a little tube and have to collect a certain amount of rings and dodge bombs before you hit a checkpoint. Do this right 3 times and you get awarded a Chaos Emerald. The terrible part about this is Tails. He follows right behind you and does everything you do. He's also important in collecting enough rings to move on. The catch is, he does everything you do, but with a second delay. So if you try to dodge a bomb, he will more than likely run right into it, losing all the rings he collected, and more than likely cause you to fail. Not to mention that you barely have any time to react to upcoming bombs because you can't see them before it's too late. If Tails gets hit, you might as well just reload and start over because you won't have enough rings to progress through the stage, unless you were playing on the original Genesis, because remember, no save states. In order to beat these stages, you essentially have to have the entire layout of the track and the timing memorized just right so you can get enough rings and avoid getting you and Tails hit, which I can only imagine is nearly impossible if you're playing on the original Genesis. Completing these stages was the most aggravating thing I have ever done. I got more angry playing these stages than I did playing Cuphead. Cuphead!
My legs are shaking!
Somehow I was able to complete all 7 of these levels and got all the Chaos Emeralds. The good thing is, collecting all the emeralds are much more worth it in this game than the first one, as from this point on, you can become Super Sonic. If you collect 50 rings in a stage, you turn into Super Sonic. He's faster, he jumps higher, invincible! Well, almost invincible. Once you have access to Super Sonic, worlds go from being 2 hours long, with the special stages included, to just a measly 8 minutes. The only thing I would say about it is it kind of makes the game feel a little too easy, at least for a little bit, but that's okay, because near the end of the game, the last couple of stages are very platformer based, and opposite from my problem in the first game, Super Sonic accelerates so fast that you end up falling off the stage half the time, so it adds a whole difficulty to the Super Sonic aspect as well. Near the end of the game, there are a couple of pretty cool stages. One stage I liked in particular was Sky Chase Zone. You're on Tails' plane as he flies. You get to move around and dodge enemies and collect rings. And the great part is, you don't even gotta worry about falling off, because Tails will actually catch you.
Uh-oh, that doesn't look good.
Did Tails just... You know, maybe I shouldn't have been so harsh to him. He was only trying his best, and he never left my side despite how I treated him. Long live Tails! You will not be forgotten! The final stage has Sonic go into space to face Robotnik once and for all. The final boss is actually in 2 phases, and it's kind of fun this way. The first phase has you fighting Metal Sonic. What's nice about this boss is there's actually a pattern you can learn and interpret. It makes the fight challenging, but definitely feel doable. Once you beat Metal Sonic, you fight Robotnik in his big robot suit. It's the same idea as Metal Sonic. There is a pattern you can learn that makes it challenging, but still fun and doable. And once you beat Robotnik, the space station starts to explode. But I'm fine because I got my Chaos Emeralds. Now, Sonic the Hedgehog has, once again, saved the world. Or at least a couple of animals. Oh no, he's back! That's gonna be it for this video. I played the first 4 Sonic games and I'm looking forward to playing more. But let's go ahead and rate each one. Sonic the Hedgehog 1, I would definitely play again. A super solid start to the series and got me excited. Sonic Eraser, don't want to ever touch that thing again. Waku Waku Sonic Patrol Car. It's a kid's game, it's kind of stupid, but if I ever found a machine that was actually working, you would absolutely see me inside of it, so I guess that's play again. And Sonic the Hedgehog 2, definitely would play again. Like I said, I think I like the colors a little bit more, the music I think I like a little bit more. I just think that game's a little bit more fun than the first game. And it kind of makes sense. They started with the first game and they were allowed to expand and improve with the second game. So I would say second game is definitely a play again for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe. It kind of helps me out. I know I'm brand new to all this, so let me know what you liked, let me know what you didn't like, and I will hopefully catch you in the next video. See ya.